Darpan, we are good to go.
I'll still need around 2 minutes of time to complete the Facebook Live, but please start.
Uh, that would be fine. I guess Priyasha is here.
Yes, ma'am.
Welcome to the ECDF series, Different Strokes. I'm Dr. Vasavi Acharya, the founder chairperson of Early Child Development Forum. And today we have a chat show face to face with Priyasha Bharadwaj. Priyasha is a model, an actor, a dancer, and a trainer. And she is basically, I don't know how many of us know, but she is born and brought up in Guwahati, and then she shifted her base to Delhi for her studies. And she has made a name for herself in her acting career, and recently as Saundarya at Disney Hotstar crime drama series that has attracted, her very, very prominent it's given her a lot of limelight in this role as Sushmita's sister. So I welcome Priyasha to the Early Child Development Forum, and it's so lovely to have you here today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be on this forum, and thank you for the lovely introduction.
So Priyasha, I would not say much about you because we want to hear it from you. And so tell us more about your journey so far.
So like you said, that I was born and raised very much here in Guwahati, which is where, if I talk about my creative inclination, it started with dancing. I used to learn Bharatanatyam from Indira P.V. Bora. I always used to love dancing. I used to dance to the tune, to the soundtrack of Mahabharat when it used to come on Doordarshan. So my mom would just put me in dance classes. She's like, she needs to move her body. She doesn't talk much. I was a shy kid. So that's how it started off, my creative journey in a way. But once we went to Delhi for further education, I did graduation in psychology, and I was going to go into further MBA, and I kind of meddled with a few career lines here and there. My first job was actually in Citibank. I interned there for some time, and when I was getting hired, I was kicked out of that job because there was some internal issue that happened. So imagine I was kicked out of my first job, and I'm like, this is the end of it all. My career is finished. And of course, then I had to kind of meander around with other professions. Then I went on to hospitality. I was working for a Canadian hotel chain called Fairmont Raffles Hotels. With them, I was for a good 4.5 years. I was handling their operations as well as marketing. And we used to travel around that because it was an international firm. So I used to go for trademarks and stuff all over the world. That was great, but there was something that obviously kept calling, and there was just an inner voice that kept telling me that I think you've forgotten what you wanted to really do. Remember, as a child, you used to like to use your body, and then eventually in 2015 I quit my job, and then I took up full-time choreography. I went into theater. I did lots of ad shoots. I also did a lot of voiceovers, which I still do. I did casting assistant. So I used to assist casting directors from Bombay, and I used to get them actors from Delhi. So yeah, I jumped right into this whole, world of arts and all kinds of stuff. I'm like, okay, let's dive right in and let's explore it. And there I am, like about a year and a half ago, I went to Bombay and wanted to try the whole web series format because I saw that there's plenty of opportunity there. I wasn't quite getting the right kind of work from Delhi, but and yeah, Bombay worked out for me, and Arya happened to be the biggest project I've ever done, and crazy. Big opportunity for some any formal training in acting, and in the midst of these actors who've been working for decades and decades. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Oh, so so that's, I mean, that's some journey, I must say, because you joined into the corporate, and from there you shifted base completely into the creative arts and expression. And that actually takes a little kind of guts, because so many times we are not really sure what we want to do, and we have to wait for our heart's calling, and that happened to you quite early. So, I mean, while you were in the corporate, so that is incredible. Well, Priyasha, because I run a preschool chain by the name Tender Petals, and we are all the time with little ones who are, some of are extremely extroverted, some very introverted, different kind of children. And I have seen that there are a lot of little ones who want to act, who are, when they are given a chance to do some role play, they are more than excited. So what were you as a child? That I want to know, because you shifted your career, not midway, but yeah, quite early though, but still you were in the midst of something else. So as a child, did you have those kind of, thing for acting, for role plays, for getting involved? What were you as a child?
So it's really funny. Like I said, I was shy. I wasn't one of those who would easily be able to have an interaction, a conversation with people from any kind of, across age groups. That's probably why I used to express myself through my body. I'm happy to just like be quiet and just like move around my limbs and connect with music that way. I used to really enjoy listening to music, and then I used to express, just kind of explore my body. And even when I went back to Delhi, went to Delhi, I took up Western dance forms, and I learned a lot of dance styles there, and then just kept gathering more and more of that. But going back to my childhood, like I said, theater and coming on stage and saying dialogues and stuff like that was very alien to me. I never thought I would have that kind of confidence. Maybe because I was, maybe during that time, I didn't quite get the push either, that go try it out. It's okay, make a mistake, it's all right. Only now, when I have actually learned theater, I realize that in theater, there's nothing called bad acting. Any form of, 1 minute, go back. Sorry. Any kind of expression from your voice or body is your form of, I mean, it's a way you have to express yourself. The idea is to express yourself, not be a good actor or a great actor. So as a kid, when I wouldn't get the chance to do role play, I got it only much later. So that was how it was. Sorry, I got a bit distracted with.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I know kids are always like that, and they kind of distract you, but then they are always, so cute. Yeah, my next question. So basically, as you said that you were not much into role play and all, and obviously it was, many a times we don't find the right educators also who try to take out, what are the potentials and all, and most of the time. We do not look at the multidisciplinary approach. We look only into academics. We are more focused into academics and all of that. So coming to there, because now we follow the multiple intelligence approach, where we give equal attention to dramatic, to art, to any form of expression. Be it verbal, be it mathematical, be it any other, any form of art. So what do you think is the role of dramatics, and what would you because I've seen that children actually benefit when they get involved their entire body. We talk about it as kinesthetic. We get a whole body involved in that activity. So how do you think that role play in role of dramatics in education from the early years? What would you say on that?
So that is something that I wish I got the opportunity to do early in life. Now, when I'm on the other side, when I'm teaching theater to little kids, I see every child has the potential to be the actor. If you give him, you direct a scene, they're fully capable of directing a scene. They're fully capable of writing a script. Each and every child has it in them. It's just that you get bored of being a kind of individual after a point. You want to role play is that you want to just see what it is like to be another person, even if it's for a few minutes. And that is there innate in every child. And from whatever workshops I've taken so far, whatever little interaction I've had, it's all in them. It's just that we didn't tap it back in my time, or even until recently. We're not tapping into that. And I feel that if we introduce this early, and I really appreciate that you're doing that in your capacity. I really, really appreciate that. Why? Because we'll understand the value of this. The world, I can only say the world would have been a better place had we all incorporated theater much early in life. And it's not only for kids, it's also for adults. There's so much learning in it. Simple things like empathy. If you have to play another character, first you have to understand where he comes from. Nobody's born bad. If you have to play a villainous character on stage, for example, you have to first understand why did he turn into what he turned into. So there's so many things that one is taught to be sensitive. You have to be sensitive to certain things. And if you're taught that from an early age, and now especially when kids are more into technology and they're constantly glued to their phones and there's very less human interaction, theater pushes you to have a conversation in whatever form. It really does break that boundary. I can say that with some confidence. I don't think any other art form can do that, because even if you put your kids in sports, for example, that eventually becomes very competitive. Who's better than the other? But theater, there's no concept of winning or losing. It's all to do with learning. So I really wish I got that opportunity early as a child,
Yes, so beautifully put forward that yes, there's nothing to lose or win. It's only about learning. So yeah, this is what we actually promote, because everything, everywhere there is learning, and every aspect of your life actually gives you something to learn and take back with you. So coming to the next question, because you're talking about the different roles, which is the most challenging or the best role that you think up till now? Maybe it can be an ad commercial, whatever that you did, So what comes to your mind if I say pick up the best one, and for what reason? You can just share that with us.
My best experience as an actor.
I mean, yes.
My most challenging one was a clowning play that I did. We were two actors on stage, and we had no dialogues. We were only doing mime and clowning, which means, and I had to break the fourth wall, which meant I had to interact with the audience directly. And audience comes on to watch a play all like tight-lipped and like all crossed. So we're going to watch. So, but when you make them uncomfortable, that's the fun bit. So I enjoyed that. And then eventually the audience reciprocated, and then it all became like this. Eventually became like this one small family, and I was able to do that. And that I felt was magical. I didn't know what to expect. It's not like some corporate presentation that, okay, here's my PPT. I'm going to touch upon these points. It's so random. It's all to do with spontaneity and awareness and trusting. It's all to do with trust, and theater teaches us that. And all I did was just went right in the middle of the audience, and I got them to do something with me, and they responded. So
that must be a wonderful experience, because at the end of the day, it's a connection you build with your audience, and that connection stays. Yeah. So Priyasha, what do you like to do besides acting and modeling and dancing? So what are your other passions in life?
So I really enjoy singing also. As a child, my mom did put us in classical Indian music. Of course, for some reason, we couldn't continue it, but there was something that I used to love opera music. So I used to try the vibrato and all of that all on my own. I still keep doing that. My interest lies in old Hindi songs. So I keep humming something or the other. I like to do like little covers. I keep making my own videos and photos. Now with phone photography being the new thing, I'm also fully into it. I love clicking doing nature photography, editing them on my own, trying to clear. And because social media is really like pushing me also to kind of come up with content and be there in the scene. So as an actor, I have to do that. I can't just be in a cocoon and just keep working on being a great actor. I have to be out there, interact with all people. What do they like? What do they not like? Stuff like that. So yeah, that's kind of pushed me to explore photography and editing and music. So yeah, everything to do with the body and art form.
So what about your workshops that you keep? I think you deliver workshops to children.
And nature.
Yeah. And what about the workshops that you deliver to children? So you I think you're giving workshops, right? So what do you
Correct.
want to talk about that? Yeah.
Right, of course. So there is this workshop, we call it Listen, Let's Not Complicate It. Why we've called it that is one of the key things we are taught in theater is to listen. That solves half the problem. Most of us in life also, we don't listen. Even in a play, for example, if you don't listen to the dialogue, say you're underprepared, say you don't know your lines or you've forgotten your lines. If you just listen to him, you'll know what to say. That's all that it takes. So the workshop is called Listen, Let's Not Complicate It. People think that, oh, theater, oh, you have to be good at acting. Oh, which means that you need to have a knack for it. So there's nothing like that. Anyone and everyone can come into this workshop. We've kept it for beginners across age groups. So we start from about 7-8 years old, and we've kept like these batches, groups of like ranging like an age group of 4 to 5 years, and to about early 20s. So what we do in these workshops is it's like a 7-day workshop, not very extensive. Of course, at some point I want to really expand this. But at this point, I'm doing these 7-day workshops where we just explore certain theater games and talk about playmaking and how to kind of come up with a screenplay, an original screenplay. And we did that. The last workshop that I did with kids was for kids between 8 and 12 years. And within 7 days, we had an entire script. They came up with something called Enchanted Forest, all on their own. And then we did a showing on the last day, and the parents were amazed. First, they couldn't figure out that this was done they were all in their respective homes. We covered about 4 to 5 cities, that they were not in the same space. Firstly, it was difficult to pull it through, but we managed. The kids really enjoyed it. The kids said what, and they ended up making friends with each other, and there was wonderful teamwork that came about. So even if we're having to do currently on Zoom, there's so much still to learn. And yeah, that's what basically my workshop's all about right now.
So that's lovely. I think that actually gives a lot of opportunity for young children to explore, because when we were young, we were put into many other, courses and all, just to understand whether we like them or not. So it's very important, that the parents get a chance, give a chance to the children to explore and understand what is the child's liking. So even these workshops help a lot because they find the heart's calling, probably, and yes, tell me.
I just wanted to add one thing, that most parents, some parents at least, feel as if I enroll my kid in the acting workshop and not into a coding or programming class, because now kids as young as 9-10 have started doing coding classes, and I'm quite amazed. I'm like, wow.
Coding has started from 6 years, 5-6 years.
Oh my God. So yeah, I'm like, this guy knows he wants to, 6-year-old knows what he wants to do when he grows up. Why does he need to learn theater? But what they don't understand it, because it teaches you to be a sensitive human being, as simple as that. And it's going to go a long way. And it teaches us to expect the unexpected. And it teaches us life skills. So it's
Absolutely.
Very much part of it. He need not grow up to be an actor. I know there's a lot of struggle in this field, and that lots of failures could come about, but where do we not have failures? But okay, never mind. But the point is that one must incorporate it, not necessarily to become an actor when he grows up, but to be a more sensitive and evolved human.
Yes, I mean, that is how we learn, when we get that exposure. And when we have that exposure, when we have the scope, I think it is very important that we explore and then, kind of decide what we should be doing or not. And yeah, Priyasha, what I wanted to ask you is that in this span of work as an actor, as a model, as, dancer, what did you learn? What are the core few things in life that you feel are good takeaways in these years of your experience? 2-3 takeaways you can just give. That's from you have to think about it, probably.
Right.
I don't know, that's a random thing that just came to my mind.
Right. Yeah. So frankly, on the top of my mind, had I been working in the corporate industry today, I would have been thinking of taking calculated risks. It's not wrong to take calculated risks, but sometimes we end up overthinking it. We think it too much. And for me right now, it's more about doing than thinking it. because of all the doing, because I said, okay, you want me to anchor in an event? Sure. Well, in my freelancing days, when I just jump right in, I say yes to everything. And everything that I have done ever since I quit my job, even in my corporate experience, I learned so much, and I'm using all of that now. My biggest takeaway is that I stopped over analyzing and overthinking and coming up with like plans, 5-year plans, 10-year plans. What should I do? And just go with the flow. That has helped me. That has even helped me cope with the current times. Had I had a fixed plan, 2020, so and so plan, and nothing would have worked out, I would have been in a terrible state mentally. But because I was constantly going in the flow, I quickly adapted to this time as well. I immediately started conducting theater workshops online, dance workshops online, dance classes online. I started doing voiceovers again. I started shooting lockdown ads. I was open to whatever possibility was available to me now, because life is very unexpected. So the fact that I plunged right into the creative field this way has been my biggest takeaway, to just keep flowing, keep adapting. It's not,
Yes,
life is
I
not
think,
in our control as much as
right.
we
I
like to
think you
believe it.
said it all. The best plan is actually not to have a plan at all at times, and you just do whatever comes your way, and then you keep learning and growing in the process. Yes. And in this, career as an actor, who is your best co-star till now? The most comfortable person you've worked with, or the most inspiring person, or anything that comes to your mind. So who you've liked to work with?
Well, I think Sushmita Sen has been one person that I have had the great honor of working with. That too in her comeback project. She came back after 10 years, and she was so excited and motivated, and she had given her all to this project called Arya. And I was so fortunate to have played her younger sister. I had several scenes with her. We had many rehearsals. I got to know her personally, and there was something that we connected on. I don't know what it was, but we did connect as sisters. And the fact that she was so humble and generous, it's very rare, that combination, that you've reached you're that epitome of grace and success and so much more, yet you are so down to earth, and you're like the girl next door. How to manage that? And even on screen, some of the stars, what you do is they try, it's sad but true, but yes, they need the limelight. It so happens that they need to be the one who outshines the other actor in the scene. You need to come out as the star. But that was the beauty of Sushmita Sen. At never, not one single point was I made to feel like a newcomer or somebody who's not there yet, or that she is the star. So I learned tremendously from working with her, and I really looked up to her.
Really, I think she's an admirable, a person. And even I like her personally, and I really follow her because she's worth it, Priyasha, what is your message to all the viewers and the parents who are watching you today?
Lots of messages, but in terms of parenting per se, I would just say that don't be afraid of embarrassment, or of embarrassment from your child. So that's what I feel like. Parents somewhere are insecure themselves that my child is going to fail me, or my expectations of from him. So let me guide him. Let me tell him what to do so that he does well in life. All I would say is that just give them wings. Just let them explore, and don't fix things for them. Don't put them in categories like, no, this guy is my boy is tech savvy, so he's going to go that way for sure. Now I see it in him. I see it most of the time. We project it on kids. So try and not. It's tough. It's very tough. Like if I were a parent today, I probably would have wanted her to learn acting. Like, no, you need to learn acting now. You need to become a big star, which it took me a long time, but I want you to learn now. So that's the thing. So it's all about projecting. So I would say that it's hard, but let go of that, and let them make mistakes. It's all right. So as a
Yes.
kid, when I used to get poor grades also, we always nitpick on what we're not good at. It's about appreciating what you are good at, even if it's not academics. You never know. You never know. At the end, he has to make sure that he's doing what he's happy doing. Today, I can say very confidently that I'm very happy doing what I'm doing, and thank God that I'm being able to make money as well. I don't need to be the richest woman or whatever, but I'm happy. And so that's what you would want for every kid, wouldn't you? For every
Yeah, that's a satisfaction. The joy of actually going to your work every day happily and in the most enthusiastic way, not get stuck with something that you don't want to do, and yet you are bound to do it. So, yeah, basically that is the message even we as educators, we give our parents, because yeah, we have our own set of expectations that we try to actually put it on our child, or many a times it happens that parents were not given certain exposure, and now that the children have it, so they want to put it on them, do this, do that, and do everything. But yeah, that is not fair. And
Did we just lose Vasavi, or is it me?
I think she has some internet problems.
Oh, okay.
Yes, she's back.
Ah, she's back.
uh, so I don't know where we got disconnected, but I was just saying
Right.
that yeah, parents, as parents, they should allow children to explore, do
Yes.
things, and not pressurize on their kind of expectations that they always have. Even I, as a mother, I
Right.
kind of have some expectations from my child, which I don't actually show nowadays, because
Right.
we have the knowledge that we should not, and we should just allow them the freedom. So it was so lovely talking to you, Priyasha, and thanks for joining us in this forum. And we were supposed to go live, I think, because there's some technical error. It's not done, but
Okay.
definitely I'll put it on Facebook,
Please
the
do.
recording that we have. Yes, and we'll just, we'll again get back together. And yes, it was lovely having you, lovely hearing from you, your journey. And we wish you all the best for all the future endeavors. And, great luck to you. And keep working hard and
Thank
be an
you. Thank you.
inspiration always.
Thank you so much. Thank you to all the people who logged in and was watching. I hope I was able to share something about myself and you got to learn something. I am conducting theatre workshops in the next coming few months. And if you want to stay posted on it, you can check out my Instagram. That's Priyasha811. So I'll keep putting up stuff there and you'll get to know of it.
Okay, fine. And yes, I think it's time to wind up. And thank you once again for joining us here. And thank you all the attendees for coming into the Zoom and watching this live chat show with Priyasha. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
See you guys
Thank you
again.
so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.